entrance to the arena, all the NHL logos. Here we go, there's the Rangers. Scene at MGM before the red car. Oh, there's Tampa Lightning.
This is like the book. We're the nuts.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to NHL Awards, and we're delighted to be here with the NHL family and our players and our team people and our fans to celebrate a great season and our great sport. I'm reporting on the Board of Governors meeting this morning, and basically it was our typical business update, things that are new and anticipated for next season. We looked at budgets, which were approved by the board for next season, which is what we typically do in June. I suppose the two most noteworthy areas of discussion and board action relate to rules changes and the discussion of franchise matters, and in particular expansion. With respect to the rule changes, and I think you've all, and again, I think you're all familiar with what's involved in all three rule changes, and that was approved by the Board of Governors unanimously after it had been vetted and approved by both the general managers and the competition committee, which obviously includes the Players Association representation. On the issue of expansion, I reported on the status of the expressions of interest we continue to get from a variety of places, including Seattle, Las Vegas, and Quebec City. I also reported on the results of the season ticket drive that was conducted by Bill Foley here in Las Vegas, and the fact that he has commitments for over 13,000 season tickets, and that's from individuals, not from casinos or major corporations. Those commitments are in groups of 8 or less, so they're, I suppose, representative of fan interest here in Vegas. With all of the discussion, with all of the expressions of interest, that's all been well chronicled. The board concluded that perhaps this was the appropriate time to begin a formal expansion review process, and by that I mean we will, probably starting in early July, accept formal applications from entities, people that are interested in pursuing an expansion team. We will then go through a formal vetting process, and the board ultimately will determine whether or not there's any interest in expanding, and if the conclusion is there is interest from the league's perspective, then there'll be a focus on what the terms would be and who the successful or likely successful candidates might be. The fact that we're going through this process doesn't mean that we are going to expand. All it means is that we're going to stop just listening to expressions of interest and take a good hard look at what they actually mean and represent. And those were the major areas. You want to add anything?
Nope.
Okay. Well, you know, I could have left something out. Yes.
Hi, Gary. What kind of timeline are you looking at for the expansion process?
The process as a whole, we haven't set a timeline. My anticipation is that once we decide that we're starting to take the applications, which will be in early July, we expect that anybody who has a serious interest and is a serious candidate will submit within a month, give or take a few days. This isn't going to be, from that standpoint, a long, drawn-out process. And what happens from there will depend, I suppose, on what we get. And the executive committee will be actually charged with reviewing the applications.
Gary, I assume you don't go down this road unless you feel that the league is in a position that should something catch your eye, if you want to go from 30 to 31 or 32 teams, whatever it is, that the league could handle that.
Well, that'll be part of the consideration. I think at this stage, the game and the business of the game and our franchises and the ownership of our franchises have never been stronger. And so and I suppose that all of the interest that we've been getting expressed is a reflection of that. But we haven't made, and it's ultimately a board decision, a decision that we will definitely expand. Excuse me. I've been walking around with a bug since the finals. You answer the next question.
That's why I'm up here.
Yes, no.
Gary, I assume it was positive in terms because of you're moving forward now. Can you speak to any specifics about Foley's season ticket drive, about their reaction to him and or the arena here and or the city?
Wasn't done in a specific way. The board's aware of the fact that Las Vegas stepped up in a obviously significant and positive way to show support for having a major league team in Las Vegas. But the fact of the matter is, there's no list, there's no priority, there's been no determination other than, okay, we've been listening for a while, let's take a look. You want to add to that?
Yeah, it wasn't a Las Vegas-driven meeting at all. It was really a broader discussion. Obviously, part of that discussion is a drill down on Mr. Foley's ticket drive, and it was an impressive response that the Las Vegas community showed for a potential franchise.
Gary, how detailed are these applications expected to be? Is it going to be something scratched on a napkin that says we're interested, or is it marching bands through the breakers?
Well, you know us well enough to know that it's neither of those things. There'll be a detailed business-like application which will talk about the market, the viability of the market, the arena possibility and situation, the ownership group, what the likely business plan would be. You know, expansion is a very serious and important business decision. You don't do it frivolously, and I assure you that nobody's going to be persuaded by marching bands, and I doubt we would consider seriously jottings on a napkin.
Gary, on expansion, is there a criteria in terms of whether you would expand by 1 or 2 teams?
We haven't made any of those decisions. There's no timeline, there's no terms of expansion, there's no number of clubs. We're going to see exactly, again, with all the well-chronicled expressions of interest, let's see what we get when you're required to sign on the dotted line on a formal application.
Could you potentially expand by only 1 team?
The answer to your question is we don't know. Anything, I suppose, is possible, but that's not a decision that we've made or anybody's focused on.
Even to the point that we might not expand at all, as
Right.
Gary said. So I wouldn't put a number on it at all.
Commissioner, have you said?
Who is she? Samantha Hoops. Who is it?
Yes, model, Sports Illustrated, Victoria
Vegas, I'm sure, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
not my first.
What's your feelings about this town?
My feelings are that it's such a good energy and you get to see so many different people, you get to meet so many different people, and it just makes you appreciate your life for what it is because everyone's doing their own thing and you don't even realize because you're always consumed in your own stuff, so it's nice to like open up to the general public.
Do you come to Vegas a lot?
Yeah, I come here pretty often.
You're a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, right?
Yeah.
Were you here when the other models came a couple of years ago?
I actually wasn't in it then. I just started 2 years ago, so we were in Miami and we were in New York and Nashville. So I didn't get to come here, but I could have only imagined.
Vegas wants you guys to come back.
Okay,
we
well,
love
have
that
us back.
show.
We'd love it.
You're looking to get involved in acting or anything?
Yeah, of course. I'm already involved in acting. I have stuff going on, and all good things to come, right?
How are you?
This is for Robin Leach, Vegas Deluxe.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
So what do you think about Las Vegas trying to get an expansion team? Do you think it will be successful here?
As long as they've got a fan base that supports it, that's local, that lives here, yeah.
Because I was at the Gary Bettman press conference.
Yeah.
And they made a comment that they have 13,000 tickets already.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It sounds very positive.
Yeah.
I think we're going to finally get it. What do you think our nickname should be?
That I have no idea. That I don't know. Probably going to be like the Aces or something.
Well, they did say you can't be gaming related or something like that.
Well,
Did you grow up a fan of the Kings?
Yes, I did.
What did you think about this year? Had to be. To your right.
A couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
This is for Robin Leach, Vegas Deluxe.
Okay.
Just one question.
Finish this? Okay.
We don't want to hold.
Today, Gary Bettman had a press conference and it was sounded positive about a Las Vegas expansion team. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, we always know that there's possibilities. When you're talking about people like Gary Bettman and Bill Daly, their job is to make sure the decisions that they make are in the best interest of the game. And I think they've made tremendous decisions, and whether that's going to land us a team here in Las Vegas remains to be seen. But ultimately, I trust in their judgment to do the right things. That's going to help grow the game, and that's what we all share. We all share that responsibility to grow the game.
Thank you. Good luck tonight. One quick question. One quick question.
Yes. This past season, how do you feel about Las Vegas maybe getting a franchise, a team come here?
Yeah, I said hopefully it's gonna happen. So we'll see. We'll see what's gonna be in the future in this town.
Your season this past year, every year you seem to get better. You don't level.
Quick question. This is for Robin Leach, Vegas Deluxe. Last year at this time, I asked you a question, your thoughts on a hockey team in Las Vegas. It looks like it's going to happen. What do you think?
I mean, we're all for it. I mean, anybody who can produce a team and produce the funds to do it, we're ready to go. So.
You think in Anaheim, Las Vegas would be a great rivalry?
I think it's nice to have another team within that short flight.
That's true. Thank you so much and good luck tonight.
Thanks.
About 3-on-3 starting.
You gotta get it in because we're leaving.
3-on-3, you a fan of it? You're not a fan of it?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think the shootout sucks to lose in it, and I think that a lot of teams lose points because of it. So I think this will be a little more fair.
True. Your thoughts on the Las Vegas expansion franchise?
Pardon me?
Your thoughts on
Yeah,
Las
that'd
Vegas?
be great. It'd be great.
What kind of rivalry do you think will be with LA?
I'm sure one
It'd be
will
awesome.
develop. Eventually one day we'll meet in the playoffs, hopefully, and that'll just create that big rivalry we need. And we're close by, so it'll be fun.
Thank you so much. Good luck tonight.
Good. Stand behind him. Yeah, now kind of. You gotta get closer to it.
Ralph, quick question.
Yeah, sure. One question. As long as
Robin
you got
Leach,
one.
Vegas Deluxe. How are you?
Good, very well.
What do you think about a hockey team here in Las Vegas?
I know they're
asked you
talking
this.
about it, right?
It's going to happen, buddy.
What are they saying, 2017?
Yeah, you ready?
I think, well, why not, man? Why not? I love the sport, you know.
That's great.
It's, I'm a New Yorker. It's always been a cold weather
I'm
sport.
a Brooklyn boy, man.
Well, in Brooklyn, my team
You
is
seen
now
Messier
moving.
just walk by?
I see that. I'm a big Islander fan, so.
Point where the Islanders and Rangers are.
There's 4 Islander Cups on there.
There's like 5 of them on there.
4 for the Islanders. I was at all of them.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Great seeing you.
I was just telling Mark a second ago, it's hard for me to believe, and it's almost something you feel bashful, or I guess embarrassed isn't the wrong word, but it's something you don't feel worthy of. But yeah, it's an incredible honor. I think you have so many people you want to express thanks to, and yeah, pretty special moment, obviously, to be chosen by this man, and obviously want to keep doing what I'm doing, I guess, if it's working out this well. So pretty cool right now.
Mark, how do you define leadership? When you're picking an award like this, how do you define it?
Well, it's so complicated, the process, because you have to look on what's going on the ice, and then of course what's going on off the ice, and that's what the leadership award really symbolizes, is leadership on and off the ice. And I think Jonathan is very authentic in his initiatives and in the charities and the kids that he works with, getting kids on the ice, and the Jumpstart program, I believe, is a big initiative where he gives kids an opportunity who might not otherwise ever have the opportunity to get on the ice. And so I think it's very authentic, and of course, what can you say about what's happened on the ice for the Blackhawks? And it's all started with Jonathan coming in there, taking over the leadership role, and good things have followed ever since. So it's been working towards this moment for a long time, in my opinion, and couldn't be happier with our choice, and certainly more than worthy of the nomination and the award today.
Any disappointment?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Jasmine, do you have water for Kerry?
Yes. There's a lot of
Thank you.
Hold tight, Carrie. Put it a little straight. Yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah, with pleasure. My God. It's an honor for me, Gary. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
You said you were nervous in the first speech. Was it like the room 3? It got easier.